This is on-the-job training. Ain't nobody gonna tell you.
You managed a guy by the name of Mean Mark Callis.
Mark Callis is one of the greatest guys you could ever meet.
What was your relationship with Vince like?
I had a great relationship with Vince. Right there, Vince standing up, he's yelling, "Do that dance!" And he starts doing it.
Did it take a while to feel like you were one of the boys?
I never even thought about being one of the boys. I just do my job and keep on moving.
Over the Edge, 1999.
When the fall happened, I was getting ready to go out. They brought him back on this table. He had just turned white like snow.
Stone Cold chasing you on the ATV.
Once we come out, I got to run. If I don't, Steve gonna run over me with it.
Was Buckle Up Teddy a line he prepared?
No, he just said that.
Honesty may be your superpower.
That's what I go by.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. I can't believe we've never done this before. So it's a pleasure to have you sitting down with me for this.
Well, it's a pleasure for you inviting me, man. Thank you very much.
I'm so excited about this. What a career you've had.
It ain't over.
I love that. I ask every Hall of Famer, what's on the inside of your ring? What's the inscription say?
It says my name and the time I went in the Hall of Fame.
Nice. Because I know you can put anything you want in there, right?
Well, I didn't do anything. I just took it just like they gave it to me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Where does this all begin for you? Where does your love of wrestling begin?
Well, I really never had a love of wrestling. When I first broke into this business I was a disc jockey at a radio station when I was a young guy. And what happened is I met James Brown when I was disc jockeying on a radio station. Well, when I met James Brown, James started talking to me and stuff, and me and him got to be friends and everything. And then then I went to work at a radio station called WOKJ in Jackson, Mississippi. Then I run into James again. So me and James started talking, and so then James offered me a job at a radio station that he had in Augusta, Georgia. Well, I was going to take that job, but then I don't know what happened. I didn't get a chance to go there. I think I went from Mississippi. I think I went over to Memphis to WDIA. I went there to try to interview for a job. But anyway, to make a long story short, I started. When James came to Atlanta, James Brown had a TV show called Future Shock. It was like Soul Train. People came and danced. Well, I saw that and I saw him advertise it, so I went down to the TBS studios and caught him, and I looked. I said, "What are you doing?" So he started talking to me, and he told me about the TV show, and he says, "I'm great. I run into you." He says, "I want you to be the music director for me." So I started selecting the music that the kids were dancing by, like Soul Train, like I was like the music selector, whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, Jane gave me a job, simple as that. And they used to tape that show at WTBS Studios. Well, by me being down at WTBS Studios, they also taped Georgia Championship Wrestling. So then that's when I started looking and watching wrestling, getting kind of interested in it. And so by me working for James, on Saturday morning, I could go to the TV station and get in free because they all knew me.
Yeah.
So I started taking my son down to TBS Studios, and we'd watch wrestling on Saturday morning. Well, one morning, I think I went down, and we run into Abdullah the Butcher. And Abdullah the Butcher was looking for somebody to show him around. He had just come to town. And Abdullah at that time, he liked to party. He loved to go to the clubs. And so they had a club in Atlanta called Mr. V's. And Abdullah loved that place. And so Abdullah got me, I just hooked up with him some kind of way. And after TV, then I'd take him straight to Mr. V's, and drive him around, hang out with him. He loved to party and have a good time. So that's how the hook up with the wrestling. On Saturday mornings, Abdullah come get me, take me down to the TV station with him. So when we left, then I drive and take him everywhere he need to go. By me hanging around at the TV station and with Abdullah, I could get in the back where the boys were. So I started hanging in the back, and I felt real strange because everybody's eyeing me, looking at me like, "What are you doing back here?" And back then, it was real serious kayfabe. They didn't want people knowing. So I just had to start making myself busy. I started emptying garbage cans. I started going to the ring, getting the ring gear from the guys, and that kind of got me over because a lot of the guys would leave their stuff sometime at ringside, and some of the fans would take it. But I made sure that if they left their stuff, I got it, picked it up, and got it back to them. So they started liking me for that. Then I started running errands. I would go outside and get food for them if they wanted to eat because there wasn't much going on there at the TV station. And I just started hanging around like that. And a job come open, and it was to put the ring up, take the ring down. And the promoter, her name was Louise Manning. She's alive today. she gave me that job. She said, Teddy Long, we need somebody to put the ring up, take the ring down. And what they really gave it to me because they wanted to keep it in-house. I had been there and been around. They kind of trusted me. So that's how I got the ring job. Well, one night I took the ring to Cobb Civic Center in Marietta, Georgia. And just around 7 o'clock, they had no referee. Referee hadn't showed up. So they're kind of panicking now. Then Louise, the promotion, come to me. She said, Teddy Long, she said, we're going to send out to the varsity and we're going to get you a referee shirt. And you're going to have to referee tonight. And I said to her, I don't know anything about that. She said, well, don't worry about it. She said, the guys will talk to you. They'll take care of you. First match I had was Black Bart, Ron Bass. They're in a Texas death match. They're bleeding all over the place. I'm scared to death. Oh, my God, I don't know what's going on because it's real to me because I don't know now, okay? They scared me so bad till they bleeding so bad till I jump out of the ring. I'm leaving. I'm like, I don't know more of this. So by that time I jump out the ring, I could hear the guy, Charlie McGowan, God rest his soul. He was ringing the bell. He was the bell timekeeper. And I heard him say, get back in the ring. He's cussing me. God damn it, what are you doing? But I'm panicking, man. I'm scared. These guys are bleeding all over the place. I'm thinking they're coming after me. So I'm outside, man. I'm just panicking. And finally, I just look, and so I slide back in. And I could hear Black Bart, it might have been Black Bart, either one of them, they said something about, did you see what the referee just did? And they were talking about me when I jumped out and left them. So anyway, finally I slid back in, got back in the ring, match started going good and everything. So I'm kind of getting the hang of it. Remember, this is my first time ever refereeing anything.
Yeah.
So I'm so lucky, man. Thank God. Till at the end, by the time that match ended, the guy that was ringing the bell, Charlie McGowan, the timekeeper, he rang the bell too quick. He screwed the finish up. So they got so mad at him till they forgot about me. And as of today, I believe that's how I survived.
Wow.
That's how I got started refereeing.
You tell such great stories. I can't wait to dive into all of this. Big shout out to Chris Hughes from Appalachian Championship Wrestling for just connecting us and making this happen. Like, I reached out to him a few weeks ago and I said, is there any chance? I know you're bringing Teddy in. Is there any chance we can sit down? So a big shout out to Chris for that.
Okay, no problem, man. Yeah, he told me about you. And I also have a podcast that I do along with Mac Davis. It's called Road Trip After Hours. And so I told Mac, I said, this gentleman here wants me to come talk to him. I said, do you know him? I said, I never talked to him. And then Mac told me, oh, yeah, fuck yeah, I know him.
Okay, good.
Yeah, he said, God damn, that guy. I said, okay, I just want to let you know what we're doing,
Awesome.
So,
what I'm hearing from that story is you are such a product of being in the right place at the right time. Look, James Brown, Abdullah the Butcher, that's legendary. But it's just a matter of, I guess, seeing the situation for what it is.
Yeah. It's just God, man. It's your blessings. You don't ever know where they are. I never dreamed I'd be running Smackdown or Hall of Fame ring. That's just beyond my wildest dream, man.
What did you dream that you were going to be when you were a kid?
I never really thought about it. Because see, the way I come up, I didn't have no parents. I come up in the street. I was a heroin addict, man. You're looking at a guy that shot heroin into his veins. Okay, I survived all that. God brought me out of all that. So that lets me know that there's a plan or there's something here for me. So that tells me that you need to straighten up, buddy. Okay, or either you're going to be gone. So, like I said, after heroin, and then I went back to work for James after my heroin spree, and then I went with James, then wrestling, and I've just been going ever since.
I love that you just drop his name. Like, I worked for James. This is James Brown, absolute legend, one of the greatest of all time.
Oh, I was around him all the time, man. He's a character.
Oh, that's amazing.
He used to, but he's real serious. Here's a guy who had no education, none whatsoever. But he could play every instrument in that band. And he was so critical of, he was like a perfectionist. And they'd be performing on stage, live performance, and he'd hear somebody that hit a bad note. He'd hear that. But he didn't stop performing. He'd keep right on dancing, but then he'd let them know he heard it. So he's telling them this is going to cost you 5, 10, 50. And he's doing that to him while he's performing. That's right. A lot of people didn't know that.
That's amazing. We'll get back to the conversation in just a second. This episode is brought to you by Blue Chew, and your first month is free. You just have to pay $5 shipping when you go to BlueChew.com and enter the promo code INSIGHT. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. And the best part is it's all done online, so no doctor's visits, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. So if you've ever thought about giving Blue Chew a try, this is your chance. Your first month is free when you go to BlueChew.com and enter the code INSIGHT at checkout. You just have to pay $5 for shipping. That's BlueChew.com. Enter our new promo code, which is INSIGHT, and you'll get your first month for free. You just have to pay $5 for shipping. Big shout out to Blue Chew for sponsoring this episode. Early on in your career, you managed a guy by the name of Mean Mark Callis.
Yeah.
What was Mark Callis like at that time?
Mark Callis is one of the greatest guys you could ever meet, man. Me and him started way back in the day when he was Mean Mark Callis. Then I had a chance to ride with him and stuff, even before I even started managing, me and him just became friends. But the Undertaker is one of the nicest people you could ever meet. He's a guy that don't forget about where he come from. He don't forget about the young talent. He's the only guy that I saw one or two other guys, but Mark was always consistent. Whenever he got the TV, he would always go to ringside and watch and sit down and observe. And he would always, if he saw something wrong out of some of the young talent, he would call him, take time to him and talk to him. And always went to try to help him. And there's a lot of guys, and there's been walk by them guys, don't give them time of day. You know what I mean? But anyway, like I said, they don't come no better than The Undertaker.
People talk about him being a locker room leader. When did you start to see that happening with Undertaker? Well,
you started to see that when things were out of control. Sometimes the locker room gets a bit out of control. You got some guy come in, with a big mouth. I'm going to be the guy today. No, you're not. So, that's when and like people like when we was working for law, I won't put people, I'll speak for myself. I had this problem with John Laurinaitis with this racism. And so he told me one time, I went to him and I asked him why I did not have a action figure. He said to me, he said, well, the reason you don't have one is because we went and talked to the consumers and they said that they wouldn't buy your doll. But I'm the general manager of Smackdown. I'm the face of the company for 9 years, but nobody will buy my doll. How can you even tell somebody that? That got me so hot, man, I had to catch myself because you have to play the game here or you'll expose yourself. So I just, okay, no problem. And I went straight to Taker. And I said, you ain't going to believe what he just said to me. And I told that to Taker, and I think Taker, I don't know what Taker said anything to him because Taker didn't really, I ain't going to say that because I don't know. But anyway, I went to Taker with it, and I just left it at that.
You're not afraid to say that you had issues with John Laurinaitis?
No.
But he was still with the company up until about a year ago.
Yeah.
You didn't think that would cause issues with WWE?
What do you mean?
It was one of their employees, and you're saying these things about him. Now he's not there anymore.
Well, I'm just saying the truth. And if the truth will get me in trouble, then I'm ready to go get in trouble. It's trouble sometimes can be good trouble. Yeah, I'm just telling the truth. And there are a lot of other people that I can speak out on, but I let it go. I'm done with it. That's in the past. God has blessed me to make it, so I don't have no reason to keep talking about all this mess that they done back in the past. But to me, to sit down and just think about, to mistreat me, not because I'm not doing my job. I stayed in my position 9 years. So Vince McMahon ain't gonna have you on his TV, the face of his company, for 9 years if you're not doing your job.
Yeah.
But you fire me? He wouldn't even give me my Legends deal.
Really?
Okay, nothing. Didn't give me nothing.
What was your relationship with Vince like?
Very good. Had a great relationship with Vince. Vince McMahon told me right to my face, he said, Teddy, he said, they wasted you down south. And the other thing he said to me that let me knew he was interested in me, he says, I can't believe I've had you right here under my nose all this time. That's what he said to me, those two things. So Vince McMahon, I knew how to play the game a long time, just don't let everybody know. Because if you do, you know what I mean, they're going to get you.
Yeah.
When Vince McMahon said those two things to me, that let me know then my position. So that don't mean go crazy. That don't mean, hey, Vince loves me, I can do what I want to do. See, that's the trick. Yeah. You don't do that. You still be the same guy, no matter what. Don't let nothing go to your head. Then the other thing I found out, I went to Laurinaitis, I was trying to get a raise from him, told me I didn't qualify for a raise or something, he said to me. And then the next thing I knew, and he didn't know, one of the referees told me how much money he made, and he was making more money than me. The referee
was making more money than you as a general manager.
Right.
Then what happened?
Well, I just left it alone. Ain't nothing you can do.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing I can do. I can't go argue with him because that's what he wants.
Yeah.
He wants me to come start bitching. You know what I mean? Now they really can get rid of me. Well, Teddy Long, he's out there hollering and screaming now, you know. Think we better get him out of here.
Mm. Did it take a while to feel like you were one of the boys? Because I feel like there's like a hierarchy in wrestling, like the wrestlers and you got the referees and the managers.
Well, no, I never thought I was one of the boys. I mean, I was around, some guys would make me feel comfortable. JBL, John Bradshaw, nicest guy in the world. Gave me a great speech at my Hall of Fame, and he told the truth. That's what really made me know, you know, because a lot of things guys say about you. Des Mantell, he put me over one time. Des don't even know me, and he didn't have to do that. So that lets me know when somebody's lying or they're telling the truth. You know what I mean? So, and I thank Dutch for that. But I think after I got the general manager spot, I felt a little comfortable. But then, like I said, I never even thought about being one of the boys. I just come in, go to work, do my job, and keep on moving.
And this is why you're so good at what you do.
Yeah, I'm not a character. I don't get out there and then turn into somebody else. I'm Teddy Long 24/7. I do it in the gym and stuff where I walk around every player. And I got that from my dog. I had a Labrador Retriever. His name was Boss. And as Boss, I got him as a puppy. As Boss started getting bigger and bigger, Boss started getting in the way. So every time Boss would be in the way of something, I would just walk by him. I mean, I swear, this was before I even went to Vince TV and everything. I'm like, come on, player, get out the way. Move, player. You know, I'm just talking to him. And so one night, and finally when I went to TV, I just started using the slang, calling people player. So, you know, and that's how the player started.
That's amazing.
The way I got to dance is my grandson, he's 19 now. Well, when he was about 2 years old, we was trying to learn him how to walk. So we bought this walker to put him in. So at that particular time, we was taping Smackdown on Tuesday night, and then you could go back home on Friday and look at it. So we bought him this walker, and every time we put him in the walker, that's all he would do, just bop up and down like that. So, so I went to TV one night, and I think I walked out on Smackdown. They was playing my music, but I was just thinking about him and just having fun. So I started doing the dance like he's doing in the walker. Okay, so then I'd get back home on Fridays, and so we'd watch the show. I said, come here. I look, I'm doing your dance. And I swear, man, one night I got ready to walk out, and just as I got to the curtain right there, Vince standing up, he's yelling, do that dance. So I'm like, what dance? And he started doing it. Vince is doing it. And I got it. And that's how the dance started.
What about holla, holla, holla?
I made that up too. That's always my own creation. One-on-one with The Undertaker. That was me. And the reason, I'll tell you how I put so much emphasis on that, and people never know this. Vince, one night we was in Madison Square Garden, and Stephanie went out to introduce somebody or something, I think. I don't remember. But anyway, she come back, and Vince stopped, and he was talking to her, and he was saying, Stephanie, I want you to put emphasis on that. When you introduce the guy, I want to hear John Williams, you know, like that, you know. And I was just standing back. I didn't say a word. So next time I did Undertaker, one-on-one with The Undertaker. That's how I learned to do that. And that's how that come about. I said, oh, Vince wants it like this. Okay, gotcha.
Would they write shows around you saying one-on-one with The Undertaker? Like, would they look at the match card and go, instead of The Undertaker just having a match, let's set it up with Teddy?
Well, when they caught on to it and seen that it was catchy, people liked it, then they always wrote it. They put it in there, but I was going to do it anyway. Not that I'm going off, you know, not doing what I'm supposed to do, but I know Vince didn't mind me. Vince gave me free rein to say what I wanted to say, but he knew I wasn't going to say nothing that would get the company in trouble. And I never really say nothing. I don't want to say they'd write stuff. I just add my stuff to it.
The best part about saying one-on-one with The Undertaker is obviously the way you delivered it was great, but then the look on the person's face after you deliver it.
Well, you got to sell it.
And they sold it. It was so good.
and back then, that's why, because Vince was high on that. Because when I did that and some of the guys didn't record, didn't sell, then Vince would be right on them. God damn it. When you sell that.
So I got a lot of messages from people asking, how is it possible that you can bet on WWE PLEs at MyBookie? I mean, it's scripted. How can you bet on something that's scripted? So look, I don't know the logistics behind it, but I do know that when you go to mybookie.ag, not only can you bet on WWE, you can bet on the UFC, boxing, you can bet on Jake Paul's next fight, you can bet on the NBA. You can bet on everything there. And I do know that when you sign up using the promo code CVV, you'll get a 50% bonus on your first deposit. So put in $100, now you've got $150. Put in $200, now you've got $300. You get the point. So if you're already picking the winners of these WWE events, why not make a little bit of money while you're at it? Use that promo code CVV and MyBookie. I want to take it back to before you were the general manager and you were a referee. How did that happen? How did you become a referee in WWE?
They called me. I left WCW. Flair, was he the booker there? I'm not sure. I think he might have been when I left. But anyway, I left WCW. They fired me. I left WCW and I went home. I was at home 2 months, 3 months. I don't know, 2 or 3 months. Anyway, they called me one day from Providence, Rhode Island. And they said, we need you to come in for TV. Okay. No. I went in refereeing first. That's right. I left WCW, then Jim Ross called me. Jim Ross called me in 1998, I believe it was, to come into WWL to be a referee. That's how I got the referee job. That was after I'd managed Doom, Skyscrapers, all the big names and everything.
Yeah.
So now you got to drop down. So that didn't bother me. See, I don't care about that level. This is not real, what we do. And that's what a lot of people got to understand. It didn't bother me about being a referee. Just give me my check. Whatever y'all want me to do, just pay me. Mm. So then I started refereeing. And after I started refereeing, I'll make this short, they had a meeting one day. Sergeant Slaughter, Earl Hebner, and Michael Hayes were the 3 guys. They were looking for a manager. I think they wanted to bring in Ernest the Cat Miller. That's who Laurinaitis wanted, I believe. And Sergeant Slaughter and Hebner and Michael Hayes spoke out. They said, no. They said, Miller's okay. He said, but if you want a manager, so that Teddy Long can talk. So Vince is like, damn, you got a guy right here. You know what I mean? But he don't know. So after they recommended me, they called me about 3 o'clock one afternoon. They told me they needed me to come to Providence for TV. Laurinaitis called me that day. And it wasn't a real, exciting call. So it scared me at first. I almost didn't go. Because it wasn't, hey, yeah, man, we need to bring you in to Rob Providence, and they want to do this, just. So I'm like, is this serious? Are you ribbing me, or what is this called? Yeah. But anyway, so after they got to send me a ticket and all that. So I left my house. I flew and went straight to Boston. They picked me up in a car, drove me to Providence. Okay, I walked out on Vince's TV. I cut this promo on D'Lo Brown. No, I walked out with D'Lo and I cut the promo on Tommy Dreamer. And when I come back through the curtain, that's when Vince stood up and looked at me. And those were the times that he said to me, he said, I can't believe I had you ready under my nose all this time. Mm. Yeah. And he used to come to me and stuff and he'd tell, what are you saying out there tonight? And he knew, because he, everything that's written, before it goes on TV, Vince approves it. So, but he knew, but he wanted me to repeat it and stuff. And Vince he really helped me a lot. He made a man out of me, because I didn't understand the wrestling business. About the money, and this is business. So I had to understand all that. And after I went to work for Vince enlightened me, and I found, okay, this is how this works. This is what's supposed to be done. But I never let anybody know. I always just kept everything to myself. And one time, I'll tell you where I got real educational with is Dusty Rhodes, God rest his soul, gave me my first job. He gave me the referee job. And I remember when I was just picking jackets up and just running errands, that one time I had to go downstairs at the studio and get some food for them. And they had these bouillon soup, liquid soup. And I'd get about 6 cups of the liquid soup and bring it upstairs for JJ, Jim Crockett, and everybody that was in the production meeting. So one day I brought the soup up, I set it down, I got ready to walk out, and Dusty looks at me, "Where you going, baby?" And I said, "Well, I'm getting out." "No, Teddy Long, why don't you stand right over there? Stand right there." And he made me stand there in this production meeting, and I heard everything that went on in that room. And at that time, I definitely wasn't supposed to be in there. And definitely wasn't supposed to be hearing what's going on because everything was really kayfabe then. But I just don't know how that worked out. And Dusty just had me stand there, and I stood there, and when I finished, I left. But as I stayed in this business, I learned, stuff started coming back to me. I'm like, okay, now I know why they said this. Now I know why they done this. So it was very educational to me. So what I found out then, you got to learn here. This is on-the-job training. Ain't nobody gonna tell you shit. Okay, you got to learn, and that's the way it was. So I think they pissed some people off because I learned.
This is not just right place, right time. It's also right place, right time, and right person too.
Yeah, well, it's all God, man. You know, it's just God been taking care of me, man. Like I said, as a kid, I had no parents. My mother died when I was young. My education was all messed up, so I could get all that straightened out. I was just in the street, man, living day to day. You know, not a clue. And to go from that, like I said, I was a heroin addict, and to go from that to where God has brought me today, it's all God, it ain't me.
But there's a lot of people that wouldn't take those opportunities that are in front of them and actually do something with it. You took these opportunities.
You know why I did something with them? Because I didn't know they were opportunities.
Wow.
That's why. See how God fixed you?
Yeah.
If I didn't know, he knows.
Wow.
I'll guide you.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know I had no clue. I had no idea what opportunities were. And I think about this right here too, man. When I was general manager there and I was in that spot there for that long, don't you know there were outside people calling about giving me up opportunities? Like some of the wrestlers you see on some of the game shows. You see them go on those shows and do them. You know them people call me, but they had to go through talent relations to get me. You know what Mark Corrano told me one time, and he was Johnny's assistant. And I told and Mike Yoder, he'll tell you this, because I smartened him up. You know, me and Mike knew what they were doing to me. So I went to Mark Corrano. I said, "Mark, I want to ask you," I had Mike Yoder, I said, stand right over there. I said, "What about my legend deal, Mark?" He looks at me and he says, "You don't have one? Here's the guy that give them out." That's how dumb they thought I was.
Wow.
So that's how dumb they thought I was.
Well, they're both out, you know.
Well, that's karma. Yeah, what goes around comes around.
Were you surprised by the lawsuit, the stories that came out about John Laurinaitis?
Not at all.
Were you aware that it was happening when you were
not aware, but not surprised.
Oh, yeah.
And then I spoke to some of the guys. I remember, a little bit. One of the girls one time came there. I forget her name. Tiffany might have been her name. She was supposed to have been my assistant. And she pulled me off. But I was trying to help her as much as I could. Anybody came in, I didn't care what y'all want to do. You won't be Teddy Long. Just that simple. Now, if you want to be my son, y'all can bring them all. I don't care who you bring. Because they tried it. Palmer Cannon. You remember him?
Yeah.
They stuck him there. Okay. All right. They brought in Santino Marella. He was my assistant at one time. Then when Johnny gave me the girl, Tiffany or whatever, that she was my assistant at ECW. Well, I helped her so much till she come and pull me off. Well, didn't really pull me off one day. We were just talking. She said, "Teddy," she said, "I thank you for all your help, but don't ever mention this." And I don't care now, you know, she said, "But Johnny brought me in to take your job."
Wow. Wow. When you were a referee, you were part of some big matches.
Mm-hmm.
You were also part of some difficult matches. What do you remember from Over the Edge, 1999?
None of it.
You refereed the match right after Owen fell.
That night, Kansas City, Missouri. And all that day, it was me and Godfather and Owen. Owen had been just prank. You know, he's a prankster. And he was just pranking people all day. We were just having fun. It was just a fun day. And me and Owen and Godfather had been playing around all that day. And then finally, when the fall happened, I was standing there and I was getting ready to go out. and I saw they brought him back on this table, and he had his whole body, like, he had just turned white, like snow. And I don't know whether he was dead then or not, but it was just, I never seen that color before. But yeah, that was pretty rough.
Was there any talk at that point of, we got to stop the show?
Well, I don't know, because my position just a referee.
Yeah.
If any talk about that would have been between Kevin Dunn, Vince, and guys that are on headsets.
So you were told just go out there.
Yeah.
Because you went out. You were the...
Yeah, that's all. And that's all I was told.
Wow.
So that's how I was told. Like I said, you don't hear. Unless you're in production or you were guys in the gorilla position with headsets and stuff. They're talking to Kevin and whoever's in the truck.
What did the crowd feel like during that match?
Well, it was, people don't know. You know what I mean? And then they saw this happen. They don't know the outcome. So they're just sitting there on needles and pins. You know what I mean? Like, what? So some of them are pretty much in the dark, much as we were.
Yeah. It's not like this was the era of social media, right? Or cell phones. People weren't sitting there getting updates of what was going on.
No, there wasn't no, they're filming, like you see people pull out a cell phone, you got everything right now. People weren't doing that then.
Yeah. What about the match between D'Lo Brown and Droz? You were the referee for that.
D'Lo, I think this was a pure accident. D'Lo, I think he had oiled up or something. He put a little bit too much oil on that night. Because a lot of guys did that. Tony Adler, a lot of guys did always oil up. And as I can remember, I think D'Lo went to pick Droz up for something like a pile driver. But some kind of way, Droz slipped right out of his hands. Like I said, I don't know how it happened. I just looked. Next thing I knew, Droz was down, and I never forget, I walked over, because this is my first time witnessing this, something, an accident really actually happening. So I look over at Droz. Droz looks up at me, and he says, Teddy, I'm dying. I remember those words out of his mouth. I'm really scared now because I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So their own head says they're talking to me, and I give them the signal to let them know that this was real. And just like I said, that was the first time I experienced that too. That was pretty shocking, man.
Yeah. He just recently passed away, but he said, there's no ill will to D'Lo. It's, it happened. It's just an accident that happened.
It was an accident. I was there.
What are you hearing in your earpiece as a referee?
Well, what they were doing was talking to me, was asking me, is he hurt? Is he hurt? What's going on in there? What's going on? So I can't tell none until I finished talking to Droz. When Droz starts telling me that, he's about to die, then that's when I give them the signal.
Yeah.
That's when so now they know they got to get the doc and paramedic, everybody down there.
What about in a normal match? Mike Chioda is a good friend of mine. He was telling me, great stories about what you'd hear in your earpiece, but what are you hearing in a typical match?
Basically, if the guys are going over, they'll get in my ear and tell them, hey, you got 1 minute. Let them know they got 1 minute. Okay, wrap it up.
But you got to tell them that they've got 1 minute left without telling them they've got, you've got to tell them.
Oh, it's easy. That's no problem to do, man. You can just walk around. 1 minute, player.
You're saying playa was as a referee too.
No, I didn't say it then. But I come back. Come on, get out of the corner. You got 1 minute. Get out of the corner. I won't tap my microphone up here.
No, I get it. You're talking with your hands. It's great. I love that playa just comes out, Like
I said, I do it right now. Everywhere I go. I mean, it's just me. That's me.
When you say that your career is not over yet, what do you mean?
Well, I'm still active. I'm here in Indiana today with you. Another blessing. Big wrestling convention here, so I'm able to do this. Next week, I'll be over in Philadelphia for WrestleCon for WrestleMania week.
Yeah.
Then I'm in Ohio and some other places in April. I got some other bookings May and June. So that's what I mean when I'm not retired. A lot of people don't know when to take the cape off. So I know when to take the cape off, but I also will put it back on. So that's how I look at it.
What's the first thing that fans say when they come up to you at a convention?
One-on-one with the Undertaker. I swear.
Do they say, buckle up, Teddy?
Well, I had somebody to give me that too a couple of times too. Yeah, buckle up. Yeah.
What's the story behind buckle up, Teddy?
Well, Taker brought that up. That was just his line. I remember the day we went over that. And this is another thing I have to say about Vince, that day we was, as we leading up to all that, the story and everything. So that day we come up before we talked about the coffin, putting me in the casket. And so it was Vince sent for me and Taker. So it's just me and Taker in the room with Vince, and we're talking. And I'm sitting here, and the only thing I'm thinking about, wow, I'm sitting in here with Undertaker and Vince. That's all the thing I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
What a hell of a position I'm in. But I didn't let it go to my head. So next thing you know, we're talking about the match. So I don't say nothing because, like I'm saying, I ain't got no business over in my mouth. Let me hear what y'all want me to do. Vince looks at me. You gonna say anything? I said, about what? What do you want me to say? God damn it, we're going over the match here. Anything here you think you might could add? Or what? I don't know I can add anything. I don't know I can say shit. So they started going over something, man, and so I stepped in. I put about the coffin. They were talking about the breathing and all that, and I'm like, oh no, I got it covered, Vince. I said, what I'll do, I said, when they start to roll me down, I said, I'll take one finger and I'll ease that lid as much as I can so that you can't see it, but I can get some air. God damn it, that's good shit. Yeah. And that's exactly how that went down. But my thing is, you asked me for input, and that made me feel pretty good.
Was Buckle
nobody else would ever done that. They thought I was just dumb. He don't know shit. That Valley can count to 3.
Was Buckle Up Teddy a line that he had prepared?
No. No, he just said that. That wasn't written, none of that, man. But, if you're in this business, that, how great was that?
So great. Yeah. Your reaction's even better.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit, no. Yeah. Let me out.
What made you so great is you were okay with making yourself the butt of the joke.
It ain't real. Yeah. See, that's what people got to understand. This is a movie. And I had to understand that too. I had to learn too. Because you got so many guys right now, you'll ask them to do something on TV, and it might be something that they think their buddies or their friends or something will see, and they'll tell you, no, I can't do that. I ain't doing that. What about my kids? Well, if you don't have no job, how you going to feed your kid?
There's also a lot of fans that think it's real.
Well, yeah, some of them, yeah, they... Tell you a good joke. One time, me and Jimmy Valiant, and the Boogie Woogie Man, we was in Waterloo, Iowa. Never will forget this. So me and Boogie was standing outside the locker room, and so we was talking. So this little kid shoots right by, and he stops. He speaks to me, and he speaks to Boogie, and then he looked at us, and he said to Boogie, "Hey, Boogie Man, ain't wrestling fake?" And Boogie told him, "No." The kid said, "Boogie, Jimmy Valiant, wrestling's fake, ain't it?" Then Jimmy said back to him, yeah, it's fake. Then he looked up at Jimmy and told, "No, it's not." That's right. That happened to her one night. It's amazing.
Was there anything that you ever said no to? They present you with a script, a storyline, and you go, I don't want to do that.
No. You know why? Because I learned that whatever Vince would ask me to do, he would do it. So how in the hell am I going to tell this man what I ain't going to do when he will do it? You watch Vince go out on TV and do stuff that he didn't even really have to do. He's the boss, the owner of the company. He ain't got to go out and get in the ring, get beat up by CM Punk, come back all blooded up and stuff. It's the owner of the company. So if this man can go out and do what needs to be, look, let Rikishi sit his big ass right in his face. Set his ass and step in his face. His wife, Vince don't care. He about the money. And what Vince is letting you know, this is the real, it's a movie.
Yeah.
So stop talking about what you ain't going to do it, you don't work here. And we'll get you on your way out.
Stone Cold chasing you on the ATV is hilarious.
And I know now, and me and Steve, we laughed about it now, and I know this. Once we come out that live, I got to run. If I don't, Steve gonna run over me with it, okay? Because this is TV now. We ain't playing, so so I knew.
But you ran in the most comical way.
That's the point.
It's so good. There's a moment during that where he takes that one corner around the ring a little too tight.
Yeah.
Does he stall it out? Does he get stuck? I don't know.
I don't know what happened. I'm just trying to make sure he don't run over me.
You're so good. And he was gunning it for you.
Yeah. He told me, I'm coming at you. I said, I know, don't worry. So that's letting me know I can't slack either. I got to keep on moving and keep my eye on him. Because he could run over me anytime he got ready. That thing got speed.
Obviously, you've had a Hall of Fame career. What did it mean to you to get that call to be inducted?
Let me tell you something about that. That would have never happened if it hadn't been for Vince McMahon. You know what Mark Corrano told me? He called me that day about the Hall of Fame. He said, Teddy, we was all sitting down and we was having this meeting, and I was sitting there with Vince and them and everything, and they were just trying to feel around and see who could they put in the Hall of Fame. And I yelled out over at Vince. I said, hey, Vince, why don't we put Teddy Long in? That piece of shit ain't told Vince to put Teddy Long in no Hall of Fame. He lied. Now you understand my feelings, man? He ain't told that man that. Because Vince don't operate like that. Vince know who he wants in and who he wants in the Hall of Fame. But he told me that. Mike Yoder will tell you that too.
Wow. So Vince wanted you in.
Yes. That's who called. That's who made the decision on that. And then Mark Corrano called me and acted like it was him. Wasn't never him. I knew who was in that meeting and I talked to him.
Did Mark Corrano personally do something that makes you dislike him so much?
Yeah. Yeah, not only to me, he did stuff to a lot of people. I can't speak for them, but he was just a liar. You know, I hate people that just lie for no reason. And then what got me so mad with him is that he just kept talking to me like I was a child. Like I didn't have no knowledge of the wrestling business. I was in the wrestling business when Mark Corrano was walking around running to the 7-Eleven stores for Earl Hebner and Dave Hebner to buy them beer. He was a gopher. I was right there when he was doing that. So you're going to tell me I don't know, but I kept my mouth closed. I never did let them know. So that's like they thought. There's Laurinaitis told me one time, too. He says, he walks up to me and he says, damn, Teddy, you got the carte blanche. So I look at him. What's that, Johnny? That's exactly what I said. I said, what's that, Johnny? Yeah. Well, anyway. He didn't want to let me know what the carte blanche was. I knew what the carte blanche is. That means that you can't bother me. That's what that means. Benson told you, don't bother me.
Do you think Mark Corrano was let go because of all of this stuff?
Mark Corrano was let go because I don't know what happened. It's a lot of stuff he done too, man, to people. You know, like I said, I don't know, maybe this may come out too. But if we can go back, he sent Mickey James all her stuff one time in a garbage bag. Yeah. That's not how you treat people. Yeah. But like I said, his day is coming too. You ever talk to Kyoto? Kyoto can tell you about him too. His day's coming, believe me.
Interesting.
But that's the other reason people like him were mad at him, because they couldn't understand how I kept surviving.
How did you keep surviving?
God. You know what I said to all of them in my mind? You stop God, then you stop me. Just that simple.
What are your memories of working with Eddie?
Guerrero?
Yeah.
A lot of good memories. Eddie was a super nice guy, man. Y'all always loved being around Eddie. And Eddie made me feel real special one night because a lot of guys like Eddie, Chris Benoit, God rest his soul, people like that I rode with and traveled with, they were perfectionists in the ring. They cared about their craft. They cared about how they looked in the ring and what they did. And they took their job serious. And one night, I never will forget, Eddie did something. I think it might have been he went up for the frog splash. And I mean, this was just minor. Just when you're a perfectionist, though, you just pick stuff. You can see stuff. And so Eddie come back, as he was coming back to the locker room or something, and he stopped me and him was talking. And Eddie said, what'd you think? I said, on the frog splash, I said, sometime, Eddie, but I'm just having conversation. I'm just talking. I said, sometime when you go up, you go right up, you come right down. I said, this time, I thought you just took a little bit too much time. I said, wasn't noticeable. You're right. You're right, Teddy. You're right. You're right. I felt that too. I felt it when I was, thank you. And I mean, I'm just, you know what I mean? But that lets me know, you know what I mean? Yeah, he valued my opinion.
Yeah.
And I wasn't trying to hurt him, and then like that. I was just trying to make sure that he asked me what I think, so I just told him.
That's great that he would take your advice too.
Yeah. Chris Van Vliet was another one night, made me feel real good. I told him something about something he done, and it was always quick or something. I can't remember what it was, but Chris looked at me and said, damn, Teddy, I didn't think anybody noticed that. I said, well, maybe they didn't. I said, but I did, because we are who we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you noticed it. Yeah, so I appreciated, that, being able to talk to people like that.
The segment where Eddie destroys your car and we don't know it's your car. We think it's Angle's car, and the payoff is that car doesn't belong to Kurt Angle.
Right.
That's just brilliant.
That was a good car, man. I think they tore that car. They get, I think, where did they go? They went somewhere like that. They get $1,500 or something for that Lincoln.
What?
$1,500. They bought it, man. But it was nice. It was running, man. That thing had nice engine.
You should have bought it.
If I'd have knew. I didn't know that until later. Yeah, that would have certainly.
You were there when wrestling was at its hottest. Late 90s, Attitude Era, the Monday Night Wars. We're getting what feels like a taste of that right now. What do you think it is about this era that we're in with wrestling right now that is making wrestling so exciting again?
Well, I think right now we're, like you just mentioned, and I saw this this past Monday night with the promo segment with CM Punk, Drew, and
Rollins.
And everybody was so comfortable. I look at everything. A lot of times you'll see guys come out and they'll do promos, but you can tell when they're nervous. You know what I mean? Because you can tell when the jitters is there.
Yeah.
And you can also tell when somebody's sounding like they're reading a poem. I can tell that. But that's past Monday. Those guys were right on the money. They were so comfortable. They was having a good time. They were just enjoying themselves. And you could see from expressions on their faces. Like we would always know when some guy would have to go out and he knew he had to get beat, do a job. Well, a lot of them didn't want to get beat, but they'd always show it on their facials when they walked out. They'll throw a hand up at the crowd or a little bit of smile, but we knew. Okay, but you don't let nobody know that to be able to read you like that. If they say get beat, where you want to beat me at? Let's go to D.C. Beat me right in the center of the White House. Let's go right over there. So that's what I'm saying, man. I thought I saw more of the Attitude Era coming back a little bit. I think there's going to be a lot of changes. Thank God for Rock, somebody to come back and kind of straighten it out, man, and let's get this good old boy system. You know what I mean? It's been in wrestling for many, many years. Probably some part of it still now, but let's get this out of there and let's just, put some good TV out there, some good entertainment, and make sure everybody have a good time, enjoy, have fun. Because without the Attitude Era, man, we worked, we had fun. It was a great time.
Yeah, one of the great things about the Attitude Era was everybody, no matter where you were on the card, everybody had a storyline. Everybody had something that mattered.
Yeah. And that's, like I said, that's what I think, too. We're coming back to the changes. And I mentioned this, too, the segment between Cody and Rock at the end there, where Rock destroyed him, just beat him from one end to the other.
And it's raining in Chicago.
And I look at it like this. Cody Rhodes done business. That's what we call, when they'll say, well, I got this plan for this guy tonight. You think he'll do business? So a lot of guys won't go out. Like you said, you guys will say, well, I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
Don't want to get beat up and like all the rain and all that, but Cody didn't mind because Cody knows this ain't real. And Cody knows if I do business, I'm here. So that's what Cody let Rock know. I'm your guy. Okay. So what y'all want to do? I'm on the team.
There's a few things that make it feel like it's certainly not the PG era anymore.
Yeah. And you feel so much better, working with somebody, that's not going to lie to you right in your face. And they got people that'll do that. You know what I mean? If, that's to stand up, tell you the truth. If you ain't doing the job, just say I ain't doing it. No, stop. Back in the day, I never will forget it, man. Sometimes I see a lot of guys that come right back through. Good, baby. Good shit. Good job. Good job. And they didn't pay me much attention. As soon as they walk away, they tell the other guy, that was the shits. Fucking match was horrible. Well, why didn't you tell him that? Why'd you tell him good shit? Good, and let him walk away thinking he done good and he didn't.
Yeah.
That ain't, you know what I mean? See, I witnessed that, all that. I'm like, golly, how cold can you be?
Honesty may be your superpower, Teddy.
Well, that's what I go by. I've lived by it all my life, man. I ain't gonna lie about nothing, and I ain't gonna, because I don't have no reason to.
Yeah.
You tell one lie, you're gonna tell two. Next thing you know, you're gonna be up to 200 lies.
That's good.
Right. You tell one lie, you're gonna have to tell two to back up that lie.
Yeah.
Right.
How many suits do you own?
I got maybe about 20 now.
Okay.
Some from back in the day.
Sure.
A lot of them I did get rid of. At some of the Comic Cons I go, sometimes I bring one to auction off or something, but I still got about 20.
So during your prime, days of being the Smackdown general manager, how many did you have? Because it didn't look like you ever repeated a suit.
I didn't. Either if I did, it was so long that say if I wore a suit, you might not see that suit no more in 2 months. So you maybe don't forgot about it.
And if you put a different tie on, a different pocket square, a different shirt.
But I had a deal. I used to go to K&G, the suit place.
Yeah.
And the guy, they knew me there too. And so they were big time marks, man. They would give me suits. I would buy 2, they'd give me 2. Okay. But I'm advertising that shit.
So how many suits during that time do you think you had in your closet?
30. 30.
So that's like, you could wear it twice a year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I got enough in there now that's just sitting there now from back in the day. I probably don't fit up. I lost a little bit more weight now than back in the day.
Hey, you're looking lean and mean.
Well, I stay in the gym, man. That's part of my life. I started back training with Butch and Ron, and they used to take me to the gym with them. And they was rugged, boy, and they'd make me grind, man, but after I started doing it for so long, I started liking it on my own. My body started feeling better, and I started doing cardio. And everybody used to get on me about cardio because there was nobody could keep up with me on cardio. And I remember we had a bet one time, me, CM Punk, and Kane. We was overseas. So we was in the hotel, and I did this hour cardio. I was just about done. I was about to finish up, and I remember Kane, CM Punk were there, and CM Punk says, me and him are good friends too, man. Me and Punk said, but he says, I bet you can't do another hour, Teddy. I said, well, what? I said, well, you want to bet? And then, no, he's asked Kane that. He says, I bet Teddy can't do another hour, Kane. And then they got to the bet, and so I think it was a $100 bet there. So I told him, I said, okay, hold on. I said, let me go take a piss, and I'll come right back. And I got off that hour, took a winter piss, and I come back, jumped back on, and I did another hour.
On a treadmill, elliptical?
The elliptical, the cross trainer. I ride that right now, brother.
Yeah.
Ride it right now, 1 hour. But my body has adjusted to that. I've done this for over 20-some years.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. My body is like, if I don't do the hour, we ain't right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then some days the mind is bad. You got to not listen to the mind. Because I'll get on some days and I'll get in about 30 minutes and then my mind will say, well, you're all right. You do an hour every day, so don't worry about it. Come on, let's quit. So then I look at myself and I said, you just take 2 steps back, Teddy Long, and go fuck yourself. And we're gonna do this hour now. Leave me alone. And that's how I do my mind. I swear I talk to myself just like that.
With you being friends with CM Punk, did you think he was going to come back to WWE?
Well, you just don't ever know in this business. It's hard to make decisions because I found this out too. Once you say never, that's wrong. Never say never. You think like some guys, they leave or they go, well, you think this guy's gone forever. Next thing you know, boom, there he is. Mm. So it's hard to make decisions because you just don't know when somebody may make a comeback or they may decide they find something for you and bring you back to do something. You just don't ever know. That's why I mean about I'll put the cape back on. And another reason why I stay in the gym, you have to stay ready because I may get that call. I may not. I don't care whether I do or not. But if I do, I want to be ready.
I feel like you'll get that call at some point.
I doubt it.
You don't think you'll ever be back in WWE?
No.
Why not?
Well, with the changes now, and you know what I mean, I think they're going in another direction. You know, that GM stuff is probably going to be played out, you know, in a little bit. I mean, I don't know. I just think I'm not going to go. They may, what somebody else may think of something else. I don't know, but I just don't think so, man, unless it be some major changes there.
But when they do the memorial episodes of Raw or SmackDown, you feel like an easy phone call, you know, to make.
It is easy.
No, but
That's why I don't have
them. Because it's easy?
Right.
But it just feels like when there's SmackDown 1000, Raw 30, Raw 25, feels like you should
be there. The last thing I went there was for the draft.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like you said, looked like I should be there. I was a face of SmackDown.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not there. Tell you what.
That doesn't even make sense.
Think about this. You had Taker going into the Hall of Fame. Here's the guy that everybody's waiting to hear one-on-one with the Undertaker, and you don't invite me to his Hall of Fame ceremony?
Huh. You'd think Taker would invite you.
It ain't Taker's job. I can look at that part too, but that's not Taker's job.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that you'd be there. You should be there front row.
No. What should have been, would have really popped them, is maybe they like Vince was one that came out and inducted him. Yeah. You know, maybe Vince come out, starts to give an induction, then here, hold on a minute, player. I got this. Me and Vince may have a little something going. Oh, wait a minute, Vince. You don't want to go one-on-one with the Undertaker here. You know what I mean? So way to do it.
That would have popped him for sure.
So that's why I didn't go. Because that would have popped him.
Let's go through your entire career. Manager, referee, general manager. What's your favorite match or moment? So as a manager.
God, I don't know, man. I've had so many good moments. I guess as a manager, when they gave me the general manager job, and they didn't tell me that until 5 minutes before airtime. I had no idea I was going to even be the general manager.
Wow.
And then they stopped telling people stuff because guys that start putting, I think social media just started popping in. So guys would put right on, so, well, hey, I'll be on Raw tonight. I'm going to be doing this, blah, blah, blah. So guys will start, once they got their finish or what they do, they tell people and put it out on social media so Vince wouldn't let nobody know. You know what they wanted me to be when I first got there? You know, Vince didn't know what I could do. They wanted me to be like Don King. That's what they came and told me. And I didn't never go like Don King, but I didn't tell them no. I just told them, okay, whatever you guys want me to do. But I just walked out and just started being Teddy Long, just on my own. And Vince liked it.
Yeah.
And that's how lucky I was to be myself. That's why I was so good, because I wasn't trying to betray nobody. I was just me.
Yeah.
I do this shit right now.
I mean, you kind of are.
Yeah, I talk to people, you play, hey, holla, you know, yeah.
What about as a referee? What's your most memorable match?
The Chi-Town Heat, Flair Steamboat. That was really good, really good. Then that's when I started to understand a little bit better about the wrestling business. Things started coming to the light a little bit. I was like, okay, I got this.
And during your very long tenure as the SmackDown general manager, is there a certain moment or match?
Well, I don't think it was a certain moment. I think the whole thing with the kidnapping, with me and Taker in the casket, I don't think you can top that.
I don't think you can.
And I went in with the promos I did with Vince. I'll tell you another story. They had me remember I come in the office, my suit's all tore up, and Vince wants to see his picture. You know, he gave me a big portrait of me. He wanted me hanging in my office next to Martin Luther King. So Vince wants to see the picture now. So the picture's all tore up, ripped. Picture ain't even ready. So I'm trying to, improvise. Vince is talking to me. Where's my picture, Teddy Long? And I'm like, Vince, we're trying to get a new frame. I wanted to look perfect. It wasn't perfect. I'm trying to fix it. And all of a sudden, he pops up on it, and there it is, all tore up. And he looks at me, and now he goes off script on me now. He's talking to me now that's not written on the script. So I'm telling you, man, I swear, this is God. He looks over at me, and he says, my picture, why is it like that? Or something else he said, and then he looks at me and said, why? And I said, I work for you, sir. And he didn't say nothing no more. He just looked at me and he walked away. So he left. Now we're out on me looking at him leave and looking at the tore up picture. So I ain't thought no more about it, but it was good because Vince, everything was good. So that night, right after that, I saw Taker. So Taker said, come here. I said, yeah, what? I said, anything wrong? He said, no. He said, you stumped him. He said, yeah. He said, I've never seen him where he had no words, where he couldn't have a comeback. But when I told him I worked for him, that he didn't have no words for me. And so Taker told me, he said, you stumped him. He said, nobody has never done that.
Wow.
And then later on that night, Vince saw me. I was leaving. I think he was leaving. He walks, he looks over at me and he says, you're too much.
What a compliment. Yeah.
That's why I was in my spot. I did my job. Vince wants you to do your job. He didn't play. He was strictly business. And so I understood. I got it. I know what you need. He got on me one time, but it was only once. He let me know we don't play here.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're such a legend. This has been such a fun conversation. I said it at the start, but I'll say it again now.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you for...
You tell such great stories.
And they're the truth.
I love it. I ask the same question at the end of every interview because gratitude is such a big thing for me. What are 3 things in your life, Teddy, that you're grateful for as we sit here right now?
Well, number 1, I'm just grateful to be alive. Number 2, I'm grateful to have the success that I have had and I'm still receiving. Number 3 is my dog. My wife, she's been dead now for 2 years in May. And so after my wife passed, I got me a dog. And I always had dogs, but when I was on the road, my wife didn't understand about animals, and I didn't understand either. I didn't know about you take them to the vet, get the shots and all that. I didn't know. So we just didn't take care of the dogs they had in the future. So after my wife died, she wouldn't let me get a dog while she was sick. So I said, well, now I'll go and get a dog because now I understand about him. So I got me another puppy and I got his shots. Oh, he's like a child now because I understand how you got to take care of him. So
what's his name?
His name is Rufus.
Rufus.
Tell you about that. My real name is Theodore Rufus Long. Well, JBL, every time he see me, hey, Rufus Long. So when I went and got Rufus, I was going to name him Peter from Family Guy. I love Family Guy. So I was going to name him that. And then when I thought about JBL, I said, I got to do this for John. And I sent John a picture of him and I told him, I said, this is my dog. And I said, guess what his name is? And I called him Mr. Rufus. And I sent pictures. John complimented me. He wanted to see a picture of Rufus every day.
Oh.
So he loves Rufus.
Let me see a picture of Rufus.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you got one. I'm sure he's the lock screen on your phone.
I got Mr. Rufus right.
Let's see Mr. Rufus.
Let's see here. Hold on with that. That's Mr. Rufus right there.
Oh, man. Look at that good boy. Is it a shepherd?
A shepherd and pit bull.
Wow. That's a handsome boy.
And see how blessed I was. That dog was free. Y'all, John loved that because he called me cheap. They all him and Ron. They say I won't pay for nothing. And so I told him that. He said, you bastard, you mean you tricked somebody out of that dog? I said, no, God gave me the dog.
That's what you said to me about your shoes when you sat down.
I met one of Kanye's.
Look at this drip. I don't know if you can put that up there. You got the Yeezys on, yeah.
And these were free. I met this guy that worked for Kanye West, and he was a big Teddy Long Mark, and he gave me 2 pair of them. So these I just saved for the road, but I got another pair I wear to the gym every day.
I have 2 pairs of Yeezys. Those are so comfortable.
Oh, brother, believe me, like walking on air.
Yeah, they're so good.
You ever tried the Osh? You ever heard of them as a brand called OSH?
No.
Osh or something.
No.
Man, those things are so light. I swear I wore them one time in the airport and forgot I had them on. You take your shoes off.
Yeah.
I forgot to take my shoes off. That's how light they are. But I quit wearing them. They was too light, man. You could just ball them up in your hand. Yeah.
These are gangster shoes.
Yeah, man.
Those
I love
great.
them, man. I just try to stay comfortable.
Well, thank you again, sir.
Hey, thank you for having me, man. This has been an outstanding blessing and a blast. And before I go, I just want to tell everybody to subscribe to Road Trip After Hours with me and Mac Davis. And we have a great podcast and we have a lot of fun.
We will link that down below. But again, thank you for making the time. And
Thank you.
You are a true legend, sir.
Hey, holla at a player.